What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? Your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming is back with another Midday Monologue. So, I've already dropped 2 this week, and this is the 3rd one. I think this is the most I've dropped in a week so far. And this is because I was just perusing online, and a couple of things jumped out at me, and I was like, wow, you know, I think that's really cool. Let me share that since I have nothing else to do with my lunchtime today. So I jotted down a couple of notes on what I saw, and I decided to come out and boom, there we go. All right, so this is concerning upcoming games. This is almost like a news bit, I guess. But there are 3 things I saw, and they popped out to me, and I said, wow, I really like that. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention for this little news brief. Doing something a little bit different. And if you end up enjoying this, let me know, and I'll do more of them. So now there are three companies that caught my attention today, and the first one I'm going to speak about is one of my favorite companies because it has my favorite game that they publish. And if you've been watching these, you may have a pretty good guess what game that is, and that game is Sentinels of the Multiverse. Love that game, and that's by Greater Than Games, is the company that does that. There are 2 things about that I just wanted to let everyone know from Greater Than Games. First of all, their newest game, Fate of the Elder Gods, which is a Cthulhian-based game based on the writings of H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard and all, the writers, H.P. Lovecraft's friends that were all part of creating what we nowadays call the mythos or the mythos cycle. All right, and so their game. Now I know I already did a Midday Monologue, one of my early ones, about how did I phrase it? Stop Cthulhuing my games. And where I pointed out that even though I'm a huge fan of H.P. Lovecraft, Robert E. Howard, the Cthulhu mythos, and I'm even a fan of some of the Cthulhu games, none of the games are good. And then I say that because they don't capture that feeling of utter hopelessness and cosmic horror that there is no way that we mere humans are ever going to be able to survive and destroy. It's never going to reach that. That was my point. Now, I am excited about this game, even though I made that previous point. And the reason I'm excited about this game is because you're not playing the investigators. There's a few games out. There's a few more coming out. This seems to be possibly a new trend with Cthulhu games. And in this one, instead of playing the investigators, you're playing the cultists. Oh, yes. You and your friends are the ones trying to summon the Great Cthulhu, or any of the other ones whose names I would just completely butcher if I tried to say. But it's not a cooperative game at all, though, because each player is a member of his or her own cult dedicated to one of the elder beings in particular. And it's your god that you want to manifest into the world, not someone else's. Are you crazy? So now this game, this past week, on Tuesday, and today's Friday right now that I'm filming this and dropping it. On Tuesday, Greater Than Games announced that they have all the final production copies. They've been shipped to them. They have them in their warehouses. And that they said that by the next day, so that would have been Wednesday, 2 days ago right now, that they were going to start shipping them out. So as far as backers go, like myself, you'll be receiving the game shortly, within the next week or 2, I imagine. As soon as I get it, the day I get it, I'm gonna do an unboxing and show everyone exactly what this is. They did some nice ink wash on the miniatures, which really makes them seem to pop. I've been dropping pictures. If you go to my Twitter, if you go to the Two Gun Pixie Twitter page, there's some pre-production and some final production pictures that I was able to get my hands on that I posted up there. And it looks great. In fact, they did so fantastic on this Kickstarter. They blew out of the water with it completely, that they were able to at the same time drop the first expansion, Beasts from Beyond. So us backers are going to be getting that also. It's going to be at Gen Con in a few weeks. So if you happen to be going to Gen Con 50, you definitely want to go check out the Greater Than Games booth and check this game out. Because like I said, although it seems to be a starting trend, there are not yet a lot of games out where you're playing the actual cultist trying to summon the evil beings into existence. So stop by Greater Than Games, check that out, and and that game should be hitting the brick and mortar stores, your friendly local gaming store, probably by the end of this month. Beginning of September, you should be able to find it there, hopefully. But that's not the only thing. That is not That is not the only thing that Greater Than Games has that is just about ready to drop. Another huge Kickstarter that they did was for their final expansion. The last expansion for Sentinels of the Multiverse. And I have been waiting for Oblivion. It's like Oblivion, but it's spelled Aeon, A-E-O-N, so I guess Obliv-Aeon. I've been waiting this since they first announced it. I jumped on the Kickstarter. I'm so happy I did. The big thing that should have been out already, it should be in all our hands already. However, one of the things they offered is what they call the Ultimate Collector's Case. And this is a gigantic box that is going to be able to store every single component that has ever been officially published by Greater Than Games for Sentinels of the Multiverse. So this collector's case took them a while to finalize and get a good version of, something that wasn't going to be falling apart, something that wasn't going to crack and break on you if you dropped it, and at the same time still be able to hold everything from the rule books to tokens and character cards, every single thing possible. You're going to be able to hold it in this case. So that actually should be getting to their warehouses this week or next week, according to them, and then they'll be sending that out. So I imagine that us backers should start seeing it in September, but they may have something to show. Again, if you're at Gen Con, go to the Greater Than Games booth, because they should have something for Oblivion for you to check out. Now, Oblivion not only is huge because it's ending the whole system, but they've added a couple of different things to it that we haven't seen in the previous editions. One of the things they've added is what's called Scion cards, S-C-I-O-N, Scion. And what these Scion cards are, these are the lieutenants, the generals for the ultimate bad guy, Oblivion. These guys, I've been dropping pictures of them on my Twitter too, because I've been getting some early shots of them, and you got to check these guys out. These guys are twice as powerful as any other villain, easily, that has ever been fought and encountered in Sentinels of the Multiverse. These are the kind of guys that's going to take entire teams to bring down if you're lucky. But besides that, they also introduced a mission deck with objectives. And you play these objectives out, and if you get the objective, you get to flip the card over, and you get to reap the benefit of that. Check out my Twitter page again, because I got some early shots, some preview shots I'm going to be putting up there. You got to check these mission cards out, and what you get for completing them. Really cool. It actually doesn't look like you're even going to be able to finish this game. Let me rephrase that. It doesn't look like you're going to be able to win the game unless you get some of these objectives done, because when you flip it over and you get use for what it is, the ones I've been looking at, really powerful. If you use this in a regular Sentinels of the Multiverse game, it would probably overpower it. So that kind of has me worried in a good way about how tough Oblivion's going to be. So check both of those out. Greater Than Games. If you're going to Gen Con, like I said, go to their booth. You'll be able to see these for yourself. But these games look amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, another company I wanted to mention, WizKids. WizKids that became famous from their HeroClix game. Also games. One of their games just recently actually blew me away. I wasn't expecting it to. Rock, Paper, Wizards. I have a bunch of videos if you want to go look at that. I have the unboxing of it. I have a 20-sided shots with my 20-sided warriors, as I call my players, where they get to tell you their own personal opinions on it. And then, of course, I have my own full-size review for that game, my two-gun review. So you want to check that out. But this game completely took me by surprise, blew me away. Me, the gang, even my wife, everybody loves this game. This is definitely a fun game. Star Trek Frontiers, Mage Knight, Assault of the Giants. WizKids has a lot of great games out. They're all worthy of checking out, even if it might not be exactly what you would buy to put on your shelf. If you're in a game store and you see, a gaming cafe, and you happen to see WizKids game, check it out, give it a try. You're probably going to like it. But they have 2 new games listed to be coming out. They're probably, as far as I could tell, are both going to be previewed at Gen Con as well. So again, if you're at Gen Con 50, look at the WizKids booth. One of those games is called Dungeon Hustle. Dungeon Hustle. It seems to be, there's not a lot of information. They haven't told us a lot about it, but what they told caught my attention. It's a tile-laying game. I like tile-laying games. I love the way it changes up the board every time. I just wish some of these tile-laying games, like Betrayal at the House of the Hill, they were easy to stick together somehow. Almost puzzle them together so they don't, sliding around willy-nilly all over your table. That's the only thing I don't like about tile games. But other than that, I do. I like placing of the tiles. Everything is always different. It's going to be a 2 to 4 player game, and it's by Ben and Tim Eisen, Dungeon Hustle. And so you're going to be moving through the game from tile to tile as I've been reading about it. And you're going to be collecting pieces. You're going to be picking up items. But you need to stay on a certain color. There are colored items and there are colored tiles. And as long as you're staying on your color, you're able to hustle. Get it? You're able to hustle your way through the dungeon. It looks like a fun, quick filler game that I definitely want to check out. After I check it out, then I'll determine whether it's something I'm going to want to add to my permanent collection or not. WizKids also, the other game they have coming out is fitting a category. Let me move this over to the other hand here. Is fitting a category that I actually should have mentioned in another video I dropped, I think it was last week, on board game themes, because it uses the theme of King Arthur and Camelot. Yeah, there's a few games out there. Shadows over Camelot, love that. Great game, but there's not a lot. Avalon, there's not a lot of King Arthur-based games. And it's really a great not science fiction, a great fantasy setting that I think can be touched upon some more. I wish more companies would produce more King Arthur, Camelot-style games. But Lancelot, it's slated for an October release, and it's going to be a questing-style game. It's going to be player versus player. It's not cooperative because each player is going to be vying to complete enough missions and quests and do enough stuff. Whoops! Whoa! Losing my notes. Getting a little windy here in New York. Because you want the title of First Knight. You want that position. The only way to get that position is to outdo the other knights, aka your fellow players, in doing missions and quests and getting the Holy Grail and Excalibur and all of that. So some parts of it do seem similar to Shadows over Camelot without the whole trader mechanism. But because it's King Arthur, I definitely want to check it out. And like I said, WizKids game has been impressing me. I mean, I used to like HeroClix, but I kind of got over it because I don't like collectible dice games, collectible card games, and this is just a collectible mini game. So I kind of felt burnt on that. But Assault of the Giants, Rock, Paper, Wizards, Mage Knight, Star Trek Frontiers. I mean, this company has a pretty darn good record, you know, with games that they publish. So that's why I want to check both those games out, Dungeon Hustle and Lancelot. And finally, another company that I'm really starting to get into is Gale Force 9. Star Trek Ascendancy, Firefly the game, Doctor Who, Time of the Daleks, Tyrants of the Underdark. Love that game, actually. Love that. They have something coming out for the Firefly universe. Now, their Firefly board game I don't have yet. That's the imperative word there. I do not have that game yet. I'm definitely looking to add it to my Space Collection games. Firefly is huge, has a huge cult following. Joss Whedon's creation, 1 season TV show, 1 movie. Everyone is clamoring for more. There's always some rumor or not going around the internet that Nathan Fillion's getting the gang back together and they're going to do a reunion or a second season or another movie. You know, let's see what happens. But in the meantime, Firefly, Brigands, and Browncoats. And unlike the Firefly base game, though this isn't an extension of it, it's not an expansion of it, it's a standalone game. But like their first game, Firefly, the board game, that one is everyone versus everyone. It's a competitive game. This one, Brigands and Browncoats, is going to be a fully cooperative game for 1 to 5 players. It's going to be mission-based skirmishes style games that are all going to be taking place, at least for this game, until there's an expansion. I bet that'll change. But it takes place in Eve's Down Docks on Persephone. So it's a familiar enough spot. Now, they're doing something with this that I thought was quite interesting. Now, we all love miniatures to one degree or another. I know, let me fix that. I know that we all love miniatures. We love having them in our collection. We love seeing them. We love looking at them. A good miniature, if you're a painter, unlike me, no skill in that, but if you're a painter, you love miniatures even more. Now, this game, 1 to 5 player game, there are 10 player miniatures. 10 player miniatures, because there's two for each character. One is heroic mode, and the other is more of a civilian mode. Not civilian, let me see. What is the word that they use? They got it right here. Casual, heroic and casual. And depending on which of the minis that you're using will determine the actions that mini can take. I think that's a great idea. I haven't seen that used before in a game, so I'm kind of excited. Definitely want to check that out. So those are some games. If you're going to be at Gen Con 50, I'm pretty sure all of them are going to be on display to one degree or another, either playthroughs or previews, so you're going to want to check that out. So once again, I was telling you guys to check out Greater Than Games, They have Fate of the Elder Gods with the expansion Beast from Beyond, as well as Sentinels of the Multiverse with their final expansion, Oblivion. I always forget to turn off my radio. Sorry about that. WizKids, you're going to want to look into Dungeon Hustle, see how that is, as well as the game Lancelot. And then, as I said, from Gale Force 9, you're probably going to want to see what's going on with the whole Firefly, Brigands, and Browncoats, because that seems like a very, very good game also. So that's it. Some gaming news that I just saw this morning has been on my mind, and I thought it'd be nice to share. And let me know how you guys like this. If you like the little news bits, like I said, then I'll do more of them, because I want to do content that you guys and women, ladies, men, boys, girls, something that you all appreciate, that you want to see, that you want to come back to. So if this is something you like, let me know. Put a like, make a mention in the comments section, and we'll definitely make sure that we do some more of these. So anyway, I'm your buddy, Big Johnny G. Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and I am out of here.